All right, I need a drink rather. I'm sorry. Come on. Water. 1 second. I got a refill.
Okay.
Alrighty then.
All right.
Oh, it's gonna drive me crazy. I haven't used my computer for a phone call in forever. Are you able? You're not able to turn it sideways, are you? So I can.
How's that?
There you go. All right, all right.
All right.
I don't remember the last time I actually used Facebook. I don't remember the last time I used my computer for a phone call. I don't know how to do this.
Aren't we using your phone right now?
No, I told you my printer's out, so I can't use my phone because I got notes on my phone from talking with the RFM guy. So I need to have my phone so I can read my notes because I couldn't print them out, and I wanted to talk with you at the same time. So, all right. So,
How was the pool?
oh, it's fantastic. Yeah, fantastic. I love hanging out at the pool. So I'm trying to think. Here is, from my observation, the problem, if you can call it that you've got. And I'll tell you, your problem is not Ethan Kroc. The guy clearly has a problem with alcohol. We've all seen him have anger management issues. I'm not even going to go there. It's irrelevant. And I think you've seen by the comments that people posted on Facebook that nobody is buying his bull crap.
Okay.
I should get some wine. Anyways, so nobody's buying that. But here's the problem. He has essentially the so-called dossier that was written up on you. He's got that, and he's done a little more digging into it, and he has basically, I would call it a laundry list of things that you have been charged with and things that you have accused people of that I think is very problematic for you. As far as if it gets out, I think people are going to go, wait, what? For example, from my account, I was trying to write this down and do all the numbers. It seems to me that you have either accused somebody of rape, or basically somebody has either raped you or tried to rape you at least 6 times in your life. That's, now keep in mind, that would put you in the eyes of most people as either the unluckiest woman on earth or somebody who maybe uses rape as a weapon and screams rape every time.
Well, let's walk through what those accusations are.
Well, okay, so the very first one, Richard Lee. I think it was 1979 when you got pregnant with
Jessica.
Okay, so Richard Lee.
That was a date rape. And you know what? I walked through that on Derek Clemens' podcast. And I think rape is a really strong word. And I've said this before.
Well,
okay.
I mean, I read the report, and he basically said that you said no, and he kind of pushed himself on you, and I believe you said that it was the one and only time where you had sex and you got pregnant from it, which happens.
Yes.
So that was 1979, and as far as I'm concerned, that is a sexual assault. It would certainly, date rape, you call it what you want. It's a sexual assault. 2004, there might be some other ones in here. Wait. In 2000. David Midkiff, correct me if I'm wrong, David Midkiff was a neighbor of yours?
Yes.
This is a guy that you say went into your house and laced your orange juice with Rohypnol.
With whatever date rape drug that is, yes.
David Midkiff was acquitted, correct?
He was arrested, but we could prove, so I did the rape kit at the hospital, so they could see that I had been raped, but I had already showered because I didn't remember. So, he was arrested, but there wasn't enough evidence. And even though they found the date rape drug in my orange juice and a bottle of wine, they couldn't prove it was him.
So he was acquitted. He was found not guilty, right?
He was, well, yeah, I guess the case was dismissed, basically.
Yeah. Tell me about Colonel James Hayes and the incident. What do you know when that happened? What year that happened?
Let's see. I don't know what year that was.
So, correct me if I'm wrong. The gist that they're saying is James Hayes was a colonel of some sorts. You were dating him. He was married, or you were having a relationship with him. He was married. At one point, you showed up naked on somebody's porch and said that a black man raped you, or tried to rape you. No, he tried to rape you, but he made you take your clothes off. You kneed him in the crotch and took off running. You showed up on somebody's porch. I've got his name around here somewhere. You showed up on this man's porch, and you told the man, you don't know how you got there.
I was traumatized, you're right.
So, but at the very least, that man tried to rape you. He was unsuccessful. He tried to rape you.
I don't think he tried to rape me. I think that may have been his plan.
Okay, well, he sexually assaulted you and made you take your clothes off completely naked.
Definitely made me take my clothes off, yes.
Okay, that was, let me see. Do you know what year that was? Roughly, do you have a ballpark idea?
Let's see.
Colonel James Hayes, naked, showing up on somebody's porch.
25 years ago? No, longer than that.
Yeah, I got it written down here somewhere. Okay, wait, let's see. So, Brent Hamrick. Did Brent Hamrick sexually assault you?
Yes.
Around 2004?
I think so, around 2004.
And he was a guy that you dated for a while, right?
I did. I dated him for a while. His dad was our bishop. He was a really nice guy, but yeah, he forced his fingers up my skirt.
Was he the father of your child that you were pregnant with when you were at PF Chang's?
No.
That was Brian Filer, right?
No.
Let me see. Who was the father of that child you were pregnant with and you were at PF Chang's?
Don Hand.
Don.
His dad.
So did Don Hand rape you?
No.
Okay, so but Brian, did Brian Filer or do you know, did Brian Filer sexually assault you?
Never.
Let's see. So Brian Filer never raped you. Brent Hamrick did though, right?
No, he didn't rape me. He just forced his fingers in me, and I.
Okay, so he forced his fingers into you. That is certainly a sexual assault at the very least. Let's see. Let's say. Let me see. The airplane arrest. What's the situation with the airplane? You got drunk on an airplane or something or another and flipped out and got arrested in Atlanta?
What happened was my daughters were with their dad in Utah, which they spent the summers and every other Christmas. His roommate called me and said that my girls were being sexually abused by him. I got on the next plane. I was panicky, and I didn't drink at the time, but some of the flight attendants brought me some wine. And then someone put their hands on me to try to restrain me, which did not work out well for any of us. So that's what happened. I had a panic attack on the plane, and I assaulted someone.
Michael Reyes was a coworker of yours at Winslow BMW, right?
Yes, he was also my neighbor and in my ward, and a good friend of Brent Hamrick's father, who was our bishop.
Michael Reyes, is he the one that basically recommended you to Winslow and you got the job at the BMW place?
Yeah.
And then he's the one that later was accused of being a peeping Tom at your house, right?
Yes, but he never tried to solicit sex from me, ever, not one time, even though it says that in the dossier.
You know what, where is that stupid dossier? This dossier is going to be the death of me. Let's see. Tell me about the slip and fall at McDonald's in Tyler, Texas.
Let's see. It caused a miscarriage. It was...
What year is that, do you know?
I...
Oh, wait, I got it. Wait, no, I don't have it. I take it back. I don't know the date of that one. That caused a miscarriage?
Yep.
Was there a settlement of any sorts with any insurance company on that?
No. think what they ended up doing was just, there was like this outdoor water faucet that they use like to hose off the playground. And I think it was leaking. That was the problem. I don't think we settled. I don't think we even had a case. I don't remember.
Let's see. Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong, the timeline on this. So you drank the Drano in the orange juice thing January 30th of 2019.
Right.
3 days later, on February 2nd, somebody torched your car.
Right.
And then 1 week after that, which I presume was February 9th, you were assaulted there in your front yard, and it resulted in your left finger broken, your right wrist broken, and your nose broken. Somebody asked me, how did she know what Drano tastes like? Because everybody said, you said they put Drano, Drano in your. How did you know? At what point did you know that it was Drano that was in your orange juice? What made you make that connection? Because if I drank some orange juice and it burned my throat, I wouldn't immediately think, oh my God, somebody put Drano in orange juice.
Okay, well, I had used my crock pot a couple of days before. I cleaned it out, and I had to take it into my garage where I normally have storage for stuff like that, crock pots and whatever. So it was still sitting on my counter. I had other dishes in the dishwasher to take out at the same time. The Drano was behind the crock pot, so I didn't see it right away. But when the fire department and the ambulance got here, they were looking around the kitchen because they took the orange juice and they found the Drano bottle right behind the crock pot. So you could really only see like the lid of it. It wasn't like standing out. So I didn't know right away.
Gotcha. Let's see. Okay, so then wait, to go way back to your mission thing. Okay, so you went to the MTC. They said you were in the MTC from January 26, 84 to April 5th of 84. You didn't go to Columbia, but you went to, correct me if I'm wrong, Washington, D.C., right?
Right.
You were in Washington, D.C., and how long were you there before you left Washington, D.C. and went home because you were medically released or whatever?
I don't know. It wasn't very long. I was only there a few weeks.
So you were in Washington, D.C. for a few weeks, and while you were there, you said that you were raped by a black man, that you were walking out to your car. What happened there?
That's not what I said. I had a panic attack. I left my two companions. We were living in a really tall apartment complex in Arlington, Virginia. I didn't know what was happening to me. I told them I left my camera in the car. I ran out to the elevator, took the elevator down, and was pacing. And I had a full-blown panic attack, was crying and shaking when they came out to find me, which was probably 20 minutes or so later. And I said someone tried to rape me. There was a black man that came and scared me. I never said he raped me.
So the black man tried to rape you. When they sent you back home to Provo, they didn't test you for STDs and test you for pregnancy and receive counseling?
There was no rape. I never said there was a rape.
All right. So you never said there was a rape, and they did not test you, because I'll be honest with you, I would like to get what they call an ARI, an authorization to release information. One of two things is the case. Frankly, either you're lying to me or you're telling me the truth. If you're lying to me, I'm going to find out.
Right.
And if you're telling me the truth, then then a medical authorization to release information would prove what you're saying is true. If they tested you for STDs and pregnancy and all that, obviously there'd be records for that. So I'm not terribly worried about that. You went back out on the mission and went to Milwaukee, right?
Right.
And that was June 4th. You went back out there, and they're saying June, July, August, September, October. 4 months later, they're saying that you were released from your mission and disfellowshipped for sexual misconduct with another missionary.
I gave him a blowjob.
Well, okay, well, that'll do it. Did he get sent home too?
No.
He didn't get sent home, but you did? Oh, that's nice. You said something on Radio Free Mormon that I thought, I'll be honest with you, it sounded a little incredulous, and I wanted to talk about it. The incident where you said that in order to go back on your mission, you had to meet with Thomas S. Monson, and you had met with him for 45 minutes to an hour, but you didn't seem to be able to remember any of the conversation. Did his office have windows?
I don't know.
See, now that bothers me. The fact that you don't know anything about a 45-minute to a 1-hour meeting with an apostle, and you can't describe the color of the carpet, you can't say whether the room had windows, you can't remember any details at all.
I remember meeting with him. I remember him asking me about my testimony and why I wanted to serve a mission.
Why was it with one of the apostles? Was there any particular reason?
I don't know.
Did you get a letter asking you to come and meet with President Monson, or did you get a phone call saying to come meet with him?
I got a phone call. I was staying at the home of a local bishop. And I believe it was arranged. I don't even remember how I got up there. I don't know if I drove or, because I didn't have a car, so I don't know if I borrowed the family car. I don't know how I got up there. I don't know how I got home.
Why is that? Do you have experiences with memory blackouts often? Because that's concerning. I mean, it's a people are going to look at that as a wild allegation. You're claiming that in order to go back on your mission, you had to meet with Thomas S. Monson, arguably one of the most beloved people in the church at that time, and you had a 45-minute to a 1-hour meeting. You can't say what floor it was on. You can't say whether the room had windows. You can't describe the color of the carpet. You can't provide any evidence at all to back that up because it was all done through one or two phone calls. Nothing in writing. Nobody went with you. There were no witnesses. So it was you and Thomas Monson and nobody else sitting in his room, in his office for 45 minutes to an hour?
Correct.
That is very problematic. I'm not going to lie to you. I got to tell you, people are going to have a serious problem with that. But I'm
sure that when we get his diary records, we'll be able to prove it, but it is what it is. Whether it's a problem or not, it just is what it is.
Okay, so the California dreaming thing. Was there 2 black men that were involved in the incident in the parking lot, or 1?
I think there were 2. I know one that I actually saw. The one hit me over the head. I think there were 2, but I can't swear to it.
Okay, and the one that hit you over the head had a gun. He hit you over the head and put you in the trunk of your own car.
Yeah, put me in the trunk of my own car.
Did you file suit against California Dreaming for having improper security on their premises?
Yes, and when they changed the lighting, because all the lights were out in their parking lot. And once they changed that, that's all I needed. Did you sue Franklin Life Insurance for sexual harassment over that incident where your boss was talking sexually? What's that? He wanted me to have sex in the hot tub with his wife while he filmed it.
Well,
no, I didn't sue them. Why are you laughing?
Well, I was joking. I'm like, well, I mean, come on, it's a hot tub with his wife, and no, I'm sorry for my levity on that.
That's okay. No, it's fine with me.
Let me see. Okay. I don't care about this Dr. Tag or whatever his name is. That's irrelevant.
Right.
Yeah, your sex life, as far as I'm concerned, is nobody's business. Let's see. Okay. Okay. Brett Hamrick, you got Michael Riz. You had a claim you filed with a rental car company. You remember what company that was? The rental car company you rented a car from, and there was a box full of dishes.
I remember the incident, but no, I don't remember the car company. I do remember though. It's when I was living in Virginia, and I rented this car specifically because I went to pick up these antique dishes, and there was something wrong with a hose or something because where the passenger side is just completely leaked out. So it wasn't the air conditioning unit. It was some kind of a water hose. I don't remember what it's called, but no, I don't remember. So the so-called dossier says, now you should know before you answer this,
I called and talked to somebody at BMW Winslow. I've talked to several of the people involved in this claim, in this case.
Yeah.
There's one thing one thing that really bothers me that I haven't said anything to you about it yet, but I want you to know.
Okay.
I know for a fact you looked me right in the eye essentially and lied to me about one thing when you told me you did not know who No Pot of Gold is on Reddit. You are No Pot of Gold. It's a Reddit.
Just a second. Wait a minute. Okay.
So, and it wasn't just me that you gave incorrect information to. It wasn't just me. There was more than one person that you blatantly said you are not No Pot of Gold and you had no idea who it was.
Okay.
That's just not true. So that bothers me. That being said, the dossier says, while Ms. Denson was employed at a BMW dealership in Colorado Springs, Colorado, she was terminated for soliciting funds from coworkers under the false pretense that she needed money for cancer treatments.
Not true.
So nobody at Winslow BMW gave you money for cancer treatments.
Nobody at BMW gave me money for cancer treatments.
So if four people that worked at BMW in Winslow and Colorado Springs told me point blank that you were lying about that, they're all lying?
Yes.
Now,
Did that, but I did lose my job because I started dating Emily's dad.
The mechanic there, right?
No,
Isn't he a mechanic?
no, that's Brian Filer.
Oh, gotcha. So what about Soki Happenings magazine? Did you get fired from there for raising money for a cancer fund or running any kind of story about a cancer fund?
My boss at Soki Happenings ran that for me, and that's when we thought I had cancer. I didn't get fired for that, no.
So Mike and Mickey Evelyn at BMW Winslow never gave you any money.
Nikki.
Is it Nikki? So if they had canceled checks made out to you specifically earmarked for cancer treatment, that would be a forgery.
They don't have canceled checks. They didn't give me any money.
Okay, all right. Now you did at one point though say that you were diagnosed with cancer, right?
Yes.
And what kind of cancer was it?
I don't know if I can pronounce it right. Mesenchymochondrosarcoma.
When did you find out? Do you remember when you found out, when you were told you had cancer, and then do you know when you found out, when you were told that you don't have cancer?
It was 2009 and 2009.
2009?
Yep.
Freak. This one. I am so confused now. Wait a second. So you were diagnosed and told you didn't have cancer in 2009.
Yes.
That's a serious problem with the timeline. I'm going to tell you, there's multiple people. We're talking, there's a dozen people that will say that you absolutely, positively, without any shadow of a doubt, before the P.F. Chang's incident in 2004, that you had told numerous people that you had been diagnosed with cancer. Numerous people.
That's interesting. I'd like to hear about that.
Well, if you like, I can give you the phone number from Mike and Nikki Evelyn and Michael Reyes.
No, I don't care about Michael Reyes.
And
talking to Mike and Nikki Evelyn, I would love that. Mike Reyes, no, I don't.
You ate a chicken salad from SS Subs that broke your tooth, and you wound up getting dental treatment for that, right?
I think it was honey baked ham.
Well, not according to this. It looks like it was a place called SS Subs that delivered subs to Winslow BMW all the time. And this particular time, on February 5th of 2004 is what the date is on this, you ordered a chicken salad, broke your tooth on the chicken salad. They were surprised because the chicken doesn't come with bones, it's boneless. But the claim was that you filed a claim with them and they paid essentially for a new crown for your tooth. It was essentially Heavenly Ham was the name of the manufacturer that provided the chicken salad or the chicken for SS subs.
Okay, that makes sense.
When you found out you didn't have cancer, did you immediately tell everyone, friends and family, oh my God, thank God I don't have cancer?
I've never said a word about it.
But you never told anybody at all you had cancer at all?
Wait, I didn't tell anybody that I had it or that I had it?
That you had it. Did you tell people I had it?
Yeah, I told, yeah.
But then you didn't, when you were told you didn't have it, you didn't tell anybody?
I did, but it wasn't public. I didn't have Facebook or anything.
Well, like, I mean, when you were diagnosed, I assume that you told friends and family that you were diagnosed with cancer.
Yes.
When you were told you didn't have cancer, it was a misdiagnosis, did you tell the same people, friends and family, oh my God, thank God, I don't, did you call everybody and tell them I don't have cancer, or did you just kind of let them find out the slow way?
You know, I let them find out the slow way. I had moved. Yeah, there was a lot going on then. Yeah, I lost custody of my daughter. Yeah, things were going on.
1 second here. Let me see if I can find something here. Gosh dang it. The reason I ask is because at least one person says that you told them point blank that you didn't tell your family that you had been misdiagnosed because you liked the love and attention that you were getting for it.
The love and attention I was getting for it.
Now keep in mind, I've seen the conversation, the actual conversation you had. It was sent to me in a screenshot. What would you say if I told you that last September, at Sean McCraney's place in Salt Lake, at least 5 people heard you talk about a time where somebody put Drano in your orange juice?
Not Drano.
So the multiple people that adamantly remember you talking about Drano in your orange juice last September 21st.
When I was doing his show?
Yeah. They would be mistaken.
I've never had Drano in my orange juice.
Other than January 30th, right?
Correct.
You should know that there are at least 5 people that are absolutely adamant that you talked about Drano in your orange juice, some incident in the past where Drano was in your orange juice, and when it came out in January, well actually I take it back, when it came out in May at the press conference, when it was officially announced and Stephen Clausen asked you if, is it true about the rumors, and you said it on May 5th in that press conference, it was live on Facebook. There were multiple people that were present at Sean McCraney's studio back in September that were talking to each other the following Tuesday going, I am so confused, because remember when McKenna was here last in September that she talked about this Drano incident, and then now she's saying that it happened in January. Did she get poisoned twice? And they're all like, I don't know, that's so weird.
No, I've not been poisoned twice by Drano. Only in January 30th.
So do you have
I've
any...
never had a Drano incident in my life except January 30th.
All right, and you're adamant that you never collected money from anybody. Nobody ever gave you money for treatment for cancer. Not at the Winslow BMW in Colorado Springs, not in Bowling Green, Kentucky at Soki Happenings magazine.
Yes, in Bowling Green, Kentucky at Soki Happenings, yes.
So you were diagnosed. Did you live in Bowling Green first and then move to Colorado?
No, I lived, let's see, I gotta think of the timeline. Emily was born in 2005 are you still there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, sorry, you weren't moving.
I froze. I'm just reading this thing.
2005 in Colorado. We went to Croatia and then Taiwan, and then we moved to Kentucky, and then we moved, that's where we were.
So were you in Bowling Green, Kentucky before Colorado?
Well, I was in Kentucky before Colorado, I was in Colorado before Kentucky and then after Kentucky.
Did you work at BMW in Colorado Springs first, or did you work at Soki Happenings magazine in Bowling Green, Kentucky first?
Oh, shit. I don't know.
Well, the reason I asked is because I'm just curious. Which one of these places did you tell people you have cancer. There's people that are saying they gave you money. That you are very, very clearly soliciting for funds for a cancer fund that that never happened. You never received treatment for cancer.
For myself?
For yourself. They said that you there's two separate businesses. You should know. I've spoken with a person at Soki Happenings. I'll be frank with you, McKenna. You're lying to me. I'm going to look you in the eye and tell you, this is why I wanted to see you and talk to you face to face. You have lied to me repeatedly about no pot of gold. On Reddit, there is a name, No Pot of Gold. That's you. You've told me, you told me that's not you. You've told other people that's not you. People have asked you point blank, whoever this No Pot of Gold is, they're talking about this thing that you didn't want to be talked about. For God's sakes, this has to be somebody in your inner circle. I said, whoever this person, who is this No Pot of Gold? You said you don't know. You asked Jenny Gozar. She asked you who No Pot of Gold was, and you said you didn't know.
Right.
So you've blatantly lied to me at least about one thing that's very, very minor. And my concern is if you're going to lie to me, somebody who is desperately trying to help you, about something as minor as that, are you going to lie about the bigger, more serious things, such as collecting money from people, claiming you have cancer when in fact you don't? And there are multiple people, not one, it's not rumors, it's not a letter from David Jordan, who I personally think is a shitbag, but I think most attorneys are, so it's not him personally. But multiple people are saying you absolutely positively were soliciting funds for your cancer treatment that you never had. And that's extremely problematic. Most people, if they find out, this is by far, in my opinion, your worst thing, not to mention the fact you've been arrested for shoplifting at least 8 times.
I have not been arrested for shoplifting 8 times. Go ahead, go through your...
I'm telling you, you've been, arrested shoplifting at Home Depot. Do you remember the Home Depot incident?
Yes.
Okay, you were arrested there, shoplifting, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Arrested for shoplifting at Kroger.
Yes.
Okay. Let's see, you got a DUI in Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Yes.
Arrested for shoplifting in Salt Lake, sentenced to probation. You violated the terms of your probation, had a bench warrant issued for your arrest.
No.
So that is complete fabrication, and there's
the only part that's a fabrication was that there was a bench warrant.
Okay, so you were so that was a separate shoplifting thing. So that's 3.
There were 2. Let's see. Home Depot, Kroger, Salt Lake City. What else?
I don't know, because I've only searched 14 states so far. I've done a criminal background check on you in 14 states, and what I'm finding is deeply disturbing. Deeply disturbing.
Okay.
You have a criminal record that is, as they say, as long as my arm. Forgery of a prescription pad thing in July 30th of 1987. There's lots of petty things, tons of times you've gotten busted for no registration on your car, no insurance on your car. It's happened tons of times. That's petty, nothing. But shoplifting multiple times, you have accused at least 1, 2, 3, 4, including Joseph Bishop. I'm counting 6 people that you've accused of rape or sexually assaulting you, and you've accused people of spiking your drink in at least 2 cases, orange juice specifically, on at least 3 separate occasions. You're claiming that somebody put something in your drink, but 2 of those occasions is specifically orange juice. You've got a litany of times where you've either filed lawsuits or threatened to file a lawsuit multiple times. Franklin Life Insurance, the rental car company, the McDonald's Slip and Fall, the P.F. Chang's, where's the other one? The P.F. Chang's one is disturbing. That's a 66-page police report, and it's deeply disturbing. I would say that if 100 people read this, if 100 people that knew you and liked you read the 66-page police report for the P.F. Chang's incident, I think that 90 of 100 would be like, what the fuck? Holy shit. And they would be out. They would be like, I am not going to support her anymore. I am deeply concerned about the fact that you've been accused. You have either accused somebody of either rape or sexual assault at least 5 times, but I think it's 6 times that I know of and have found so far.
Okay.
That is seriously problematic. When it comes down to you and Joseph Bishop, it really comes down to your character, because it's really your word against his.
It isn't.
Well,
It doesn't come down to that. It comes down to whether or not the church knew when he was a mission president in Argentina.
yeah, I guess, because the lawsuit against Joseph Bishop is gone now. Now it's just the lawsuit against the church. But it's, I don't know. I mean, it's problematic. It really is. You have a very dark history and past that is not public information. I would say if you asked 100 ex-Mormons, how many of them know that at one point McKenna claims that she was diagnosed with cancer. When she was told she doesn't have cancer, she didn't immediately contact all of her friends and family and tell them all she doesn't have cancer, but instead continued to accept money from people to help her pay for her cancer treatment.
They didn't continue to pay.
But you didn't tell anybody. You didn't tell your family immediately. You didn't tell your own mother immediately, I don't have cancer.
My mother is dead.
Well, who did you not tell? I mean, who was in your family? Your immediate family. Did you tell your children you didn't have cancer?
My children were not speaking to me at the time.
What family members did you have that you were close to at that time?
I don't have family members that I'm close to.
Well, you had to have friends or family members. I mean, somebody. There had to be somebody that you were close to that you told, I have cancer. Then when you found out you didn't have cancer, you went to them and said, thank God I don't have cancer. And you, and at least one other witness tells me that you intentionally didn't tell people you don't have cancer because you liked the love and affection that it was bringing from family members.
Not family members. I can see that though, yes. There was definitely a sudden uptake in whether or not people cared about me. Yes, that was true.
You told me that you believed about $30,000 from P.F. Chang's in a settlement.
Yes.
According to...
And that went to my attorney.
Okay.
That went to me.
Would it surprise you if I told you that Spencer L. Sears, the attorney for P.F. Chang's at the time, said they didn't give you any money at all because the police told them that it was a fabrication?
Oh yes, that would definitely surprise me.
Okay.
In fact, I would tell you to call the attorney who handled the case.
Would it surprise you if I told you I already did?
Rosenbaum?
No, I'm not talking about the attorney that handled the case. I'm talking about Spencer L. Sears, the attorney for P.F. Chang's. You know, again, he's an attorney. I don't hold attorneys in high regard.
It doesn't matter. My attorney was Rosenbaum in Colorado Springs. He's the one that set me up with the polygrapher who used to work for the FBI, who did my polygraph, which I passed. Yeah, they gave us, I believe it was 30 grand because he got 10 grand and I got 20. Rosenbaum is his name.
Let me see something here. Who has custody of, wait, is Emily your daughter that lives with you?
Emily is my daughter that lives part-time with me. Yeah, she's 50-50.
And you have joint custody with Todd. It's not your daughter. Your daughter doesn't have custody of her because I've been told by people that your daughter actually has custody of Emily and not you.
My daughter Nicole has joint custody with Emily.
So you and Nicole have joint custody of Emily?
Yes.
Not you and Todd.
No, it's not Todd's daughter.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, that's because Emily is Richard Lee's daughter, right?
No, that's Jessica.
Oh, sorry.
Emily is Donald Hand's daughter.
Wait. Who's Emily's father?
Don Hand.
Don Hand. Where's Brian Filler fit in here?
Filer worked at BMW. works on cars. He works on the BMWs.
Did you ever tell him that he was the father of your child?
No. Although we had sex, there was a possibility. I never told him that Emily was his, but I told him that it was a possibility.
Are you still in contact with Catherine Sisney and Deborah Cradur?
Not Deborah, but I am Catherine Sisney.
Yeah. Well, hey, this is like 50,000. Yeah. Amy's walking around half naked here. Okay, the incident back at the California Dreamin'. You think it was only one man that was there with a gun, one black man, and not two?
I don't know if it was one or two. I know one was the one that hit me over the head. I think I saw another guy, but I'm not really sure. So I think there were two, but I can't swear to it.
All right. What's your attorney's name? Is he available? He's not going to be available tomorrow, is he? What's his name again?
Craig Vernon?
Craig. No, is it Craig Vernon? No, what's the name of the other guy?
Drake Larson?
Drake Larson, that's right. Drake's the one that I talked to on the phone, right?
I have no idea who you talked to.
Well, who's helping you the most with this? Is it Craig Vernon or Drake Larson?
On which case?
Oh, shit. You got multiple cases?
Okay, Drake Larson is my family court attorney. He's also the one that was part of the identity theft, which was dismissed. Craig Vernon is the attorney with the church case.
And the identity theft, is that tied to the Brent Hamrick?
No.
Who?
It was a guy I dated in Colorado who...
Is this the utilities thing where the utilities are in your name and all that?
Yeah.
Or his name?
Yes.
All right. So I got Drake Larson. I think we should postpone this thing with RFM. We've got. I'd like to talk. Who's helping you the most with your case against the church? Is it Craig or is it Drake Larson?
Oh no, it's definitely Craig.
I don't think. Here's what we need to do. I think honestly we need to paint. Here's the thing.
Mike,
Yeah.
stop right now.
Okay.
I need to share something with you that you don't know yet. I have DID. Do you know what that is? It's multiple personality disorder.
Oh, okay. All right. I've heard of it. I just didn't know it was called DID.
So, no, it's okay. So sometimes there are things I don't remember that I may have done that I don't know. I think I've pretty much integrated all my parts, but yeah. I have to go back and look at some of my own records to find out some other things. I'm gonna have to go through and look at some of my stuff.
All right. You know what? Take your time. I've got all day off tomorrow, so we'll talk again like maybe tomorrow or something other tomorrow night. Let's not do the RFM thing tomorrow. We need to make sure we're all on the same page. And in the meantime, if Ethan posts anything online attacking you, honest to God, your best bet, in my opinion, is to not respond at all, because he's just making himself look like an angry drunk with a case of sour grapes, is what it looks like.
Okay. But there are some things that you talked about tonight that are very disturbing to me. I know, for example, part of the conversation with Thomas S. Monson, I do know that he said something that really upset me, and I don't remember what that was, at the end of the meeting with him. But that's not a problem. What is there are some other things that you talked about tonight that are a problem.
All right.
That I need to take a look at, because I don't want to.
Well, do you have a copy of the 66-page police report?
From PFJ?
Yeah.
Nah.
Okay.
But I do know this.
What?
I do know that my ex-husband was the anonymous caller.
Well, they said it was a woman, though, didn't they?
He and his wife, no, they went back and forth with Quick. We learned that in Discovery.
They still live in Texas?
Actually, they're in Pueblo this weekend.
How do you learn Pueblo?
Because Emily couldn't go to, she couldn't come with me because he and his wife were in town blessing Nicole's new baby that was just born.
Gotcha. All right, let me see here. Oh, this is a big one I wanted to ask you about. Jerry Gentry. What's up with their claim that you're saying that you specifically remembered sister named Jerry Gentry attending the meetings in the MTC, but they're saying Jerry Gentry didn't start her attendance at the MTC until July 25th of 1985, more than a year after you had left.
Okay, you want the tea on that one?
Well, I'm curious. I mean, what's the story there?
Jerry Gentry was the girl that was groomed with me in President Bishop's office. So the first time there were 3 other sisters and myself. And then the next time it was just me and Jerry and I were together with him 3 times.
Why did they say that she began at the MTC July 25th of 1985?
Let me finish.
Okay.
Okay, so we were there together in February of 1984. What I learned when I was talking to Joseph Bishop was that she tried to commit suicide at the MTC. He got her some counseling and then she went to live with him. And he assaulted her in his home. But what Craig and I believe is that she was removed from the mission and then in 85 returned to go serve her mission, and they're just using the dates to make it look like she was never part of the MTC at the time that I was there.
So you're saying when you were there sometime between January 26th of 84 to April 5th of 84, that Jerry Gentry was actually absolutely there, and this July 25th, 85 thing might be like the date that she got home from her mission?
No. She tried to commit suicide at the MTC according to Joseph Bishop.
While you were there with her?
Apparently.
So then did she...
I never knew that.
Did she leave and then come back and go to the MTC a second time
Yes.
see? Ah, gotcha.
That's what I'm trying to say.
So she went the second time, July 25th, 1985, and that's why they're showing that date.
Right, and the church knows that.
Okay. Let's see. When did you get your breast augmentation surgery? That was well after the MTC.
Yeah, that was in Taiwan, 86, I think.
When you were on your mission in Washington, D.C., and you said this man attacked you, did they send you home specifically because you were emotionally distressed from the potential rape? Because, I don't know, I mean, this says she persisted in this story that a black man threw her to the ground, tore her clothing, and raped her. She persisted with the story and was sent back to Provo to be checked for STDs, tested for pregnancy, and receive psychological counseling.
Nobody raped me. There wasn't even a black man there.
Well, I mean, it says, as you know, she acknowledged in our interview that this rape was a fabrication.
Okay.
Let me see. She returned to Provo, where she initiated contact, blah, blah, blah. Let's see. Do you speak Mandarin Chinese?
Yes.
Fluently?
No, I wouldn't say fluently.
Rodney Nash, blah, blah. Let's see. Well, that's it. Let's read through some of this stuff. You really ought to read this 66-page police report for the P.F. Chang's thing, just to know what they're accusing you of and what they're alleging, because it's some pretty serious shit in there.
Well, I'm happy to read it. Well, no, I'm really not happy to read it. I think I did read it at some point because I had a whole case file on that.
Whatever happened to the David Midkiff thing with the date rape thing? is there a report, do you have any kind of records from the police that literally shows that they definitely confirmed there is Rohypnol in your orange juice?
I don't have any records of anything. I've lived overseas.
Yeah, you're not packing paperwork
But
overseas.
I'm sure there's a record of it. There's also a record where he kept calling me and he was rearrested because he wasn't supposed to have any contact with me.
Why does the El Paso County Sheriff's Office not have any confirmation that you were employed by them? El Paso County Sheriff's Office as...
I've been employed by the Sheriff's Office.
Were you working in some sort of a drug counselor thing or something or other?
Oh, that was in Kentucky.
No, it says working for El Paso County Sheriff's Office. Was that a paid position?
I've never worked for El Paso.
No, I mean the one in Kentucky. So was it a sheriff's office you worked for in Kentucky, or is
No,
it?
it was a substance abuse office. Alternatives in treatment.
And was it an internship or was it a paid
It
job?
was paid. It was paid. I did it under supervision. I did things I should not have been doing. I worked in court. I did demographic assessments. I facilitated group therapy.
Let's see. I'm thinking here. Oh, the airplane arrest thing in 2001, July 29th, 2001. How much time did you spend in jail for that? Was it just overnight? Was it a few hours?
I don't remember. I think it was overnight. It wasn't just a few hours. I think it was overnight, but it wasn't more than a day.
All right. Well, the biggest one's really the cancer things here and the multiple allegations of rape. It's problematic when if you have essentially said that at least 5 men either raped you or attempted to rape you, and so far none of those men have ever been convicted of actually raping you. Well, there was one that they did prosecute him, but David Midkiff was acquitted. So as of
David prosecuted him. I don't think there was enough evidence. We didn't go.
I don't know. It said that he was acquitted, but maybe not. But either way, there's at least 5 people, maybe 6, including Joseph Bishop, but at least 5 people that you either said raped you or attempted to rape you, and none of them have ever been convicted.
Prosecuted?
No, well, I shouldn't say prosecuted. Well, yeah, prosecuted. It seems like one person might have been prosecuted, and I could be wrong about that, David Midkiff. I mean, some of the information that I got was in that dossier. Is there 2 different versions of the dossier? One that has Jessica's name on it and one that doesn't?
No, they both have Jessica's name on it. There's only one dossier.
Because somehow I got the impression that, and was it Greg Bishop that actually released it to the press?
Well, he's the only one that would have.
Because I got the impression, wait, was it CC'd to him?
Yes.
Okay, so I got the impression that the version that was given to the press, and I could be wrong, I could verify this with a gal at KUTV, but I got the impression that the version that was given to the press by Greg Bishop didn't include Jessica's name, and I was just wondering if there was 2 separate dossiers.
I don't know. There's only one dossier that I've ever seen.
All right, well, let's talk about this tomorrow. I gotta finish this friggin' video that I'm working on.
So I thought Devin was going in a couple of days. Is he already gone?
Yeah, he's gone. Yeah, he's gone more than once. I was gonna ask you, did I ever tell you about? Probably not. I used to be a bail bondsman in. I don't know. I was thinking about this the other day, and it brought back a flood of memories. Back when I was a bail bondsman, there was a couple I bailed out of jail by the name of Chris and Becky Tucker. If you were to Google Chris and Becky Tucker child abuse or Utah or something like that, you'd find this story online that was absolutely horrific. I think they were possibly 2 of the worst people I've ever met in my entire life. They had a 5-year-old child, I think she's a 5-year-old child, that was an adopted child that they had in the basement, and there was nothing but a wash basin with 1/2 inch of water in it and some metal bed springs. And she had been so malnourished that her stomach was literally bloated, like you see in humanitarian commercials for Africa. And her teeth were falling out, her fingernails and toenails are falling out from malnutrition. She had so much lice that when the DCFS guy put his hand on her head and felt her head, he could feel it moving. And they thought, the DCFS guy thought that she was like 18 months old, maybe 2 years old, but she was like 5 or 6 or something like that, because she was so malnourished. I was a bail bondsman. It was my job to not, I didn't judge people, and my attitude is they're innocent until proven guilty, and somebody paid for their bail, so I bailed them out of jail. I bailed both of them out of jail, and it wasn't much longer after that. I think probably within a week or two, I got a phone call from the Cache County Attorney's Office, and the county attorney himself, Scott Wyatt, I believe, he was a county attorney at the time, he told me that they had just found out that the Tuckers had another child when they lived in Michigan, that apparently this child was, as an infant, had died from falling down some stairs. And he said they wanted to revoke their bonds. He felt like they were a flight risk, but they couldn't just revoke their bonds and charge him with this murder of the kid in Michigan, because then if they did, they'd only have a limited amount of time to come up with the evidence to prove they had a reasonable doubt to hold them in jail. So he asked me if I could revoke their bonds. And I said, well, I can, but I have to give them their money back if I revoke their bonds. Are you going to pay the money that I'm out because I'm taking them back just because you want me to? And he said no, and I found out there was a loophole. They actually, because they were getting so many harassing phone calls, they changed their phone number, but they didn't bother telling their bail bondsman they changed their phone number. And so I was able to revoke their bond on a technicality. I had the pleasure of taking those two people back to jail. And they were, honest to God, I felt like they were like the worst people I'd ever met in my entire life. And this whole story, I gotta finish telling you the rest of this tomorrow, because the whole story kind of came up this past week. The whole Chris and Becky Tucker thing came back due to an incident this past week that was just disturbing, and I'll tell you about it tomorrow. But literally, I think earlier this week I may possibly have actually met somebody that is a worse human being than Chris and Becky Tucker. And those two, for God's sakes, they're throwing toddlers down flights of stairs. Remind me when we talk tomorrow to tell you about this. I can't even, I'll start crying thinking about it, how absolutely horrific this is. So I'll regain my composure and tell you about this tomorrow, because it made me absolutely sick. But yeah, the video tomorrow, holy shit, I'll tell you, heads are going to blow for this thing. And yeah, that kid's a hero. I'll tell you that right now. He's got a set on him, that's for sure.
Good for him for being so young.
Yeah, he was just a kid. Yeah, what is he, like 14 or something like that, 15? So,
18.
Anywho,
Graduated high school.
Oh, is he that old? I guess he just looks really young. So
I've never seen him.
I don't know. I've got a really bad memory, so I forget. Anyways, so let's talk tomorrow. Do you need me to?
I'm going to reach out to one of my former therapists. Yeah.
The biggest thing I think is it's kind of three things. The whole, I was diagnosed with cancer, and when I was told I didn't have cancer, you didn't immediately run out and tell everybody, thank God I don't have cancer. And that's problematic, but there's making multiple accusations or allegations of rape or sexual assault and nobody's ever been convicted. That's problematic. The multiple counts of shoplifting is definitely problematic.
Let me just tell you one thing before. Well, no, two things.
Yeah.
One thing I'll tell you. Women who suffer, and I don't know if it's the same with men. I don't know, but women who have suffered severe sexual abuse as children often find themselves surrounded by perpetrator type people. So it is not uncommon for up tonight that I want to know. I want to know about. Tomorrow's a holiday, so I might not be able to find this information until Tuesday. But I'm concerned about a few things. The thing with Monson, though, I'm not concerned about.
Numerous people referred to the press conference thing in West Virginia as and I quote, a shit show. And numerous people brought it to my attention that McKenna was clearly drunk during that thing. Yeah, that was probably not a good idea. I don't think it's online now. It was just a live Facebook thing that was taken off. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's actually not online anymore. But God, don't do that again. If you ever have to do anything where you are on camera, make sure you are as sober as you can be.
I will do that. I have some concerns now.
Well, one thing you don't need to be concerned about is Ethan, because everything he's posting, people are just rolling their eyes going, okay, Ethan. I talked with Ethan yesterday and literally, oh God, don't even get me started. Seriously.
I'm not worried about Ethan. I'm worried about some things in my life I don't remember. I'm worried about getting to the bottom and truth of some things that I don't remember. There are periods of my time of my life where I don't remember things, but not blackouts. It's not like that. It's
Well, like that whole thing with what was his name, the James Hayes thing. So essentially, they're saying you're having an affair with this man who's a married man, and then one day. Well, their version is one day he basically breaks off and says, we got to end this thing. And the next thing you know, you show up completely naked on a stranger's porch saying that a black man just assaulted you or tried to assault you, forced you to take your clothes off completely naked. You kneed him in the crotch and then took off running to the nearest house. And then when the police took you around, and you said, I don't remember how I got here. I have no recollection of how I got here. They drove you around and you're like, I think I'm parked over here somewhere. And you led them essentially to a car that belonged to James Hayes.
Yes, he gave me his card while I was in Virginia. The thing with that, though, is...
But this guy's married. Why did he give you his car?
Why was he seeing me at all?
Well, that's true.
No. He was supposed to meet me that night. And he didn't show up, and I was waiting for him. And that's what happened.
Did he say what his wife would say about one of their cars missing?
No, he never said anything about it. But, yeah, that was a bad time. That was a scary time, too. But, yeah, there you have it.
All right, well, let's talk again tomorrow. I got to finish this freaking video. Oh, my God.
Finish that freaking video, and I'm going to bed, so I'll check you up later.
All right. You have a good night.
You too.
Bye-bye. So there you have it. McKenna Denson, completely full of shit. She's smooth. She seems like she's got an excuse for everything, and she goes on the assumption that nobody's actually going to get copies of police reports. Well, this police report, 66 pages long, is going to be posted online very soon, probably in the description of this video, and the 17-page police report regarding the incident where she got fired from a restaurant and then 2 days later showed up, according to her, to drop off a note to her former boss. According to other sources, she was there to pick up her last paycheck, but she showed up after they had closed. The door was locked. They had a strict policy not to let anybody in, so they didn't. She then claims that she was assaulted outside of the restaurant and stuffed into the trunk of her own car. And now she cannot remember whether she was assaulted by one person or two people. There's just so many problems with her stories. And anybody, in my opinion, that gives her money at this point ought to have their head examined, because in my opinion, she is very clearly a grifter. She's a professional con artist with an extensive criminal history. And from what I can tell, she has accused at least 5, probably 6, I'd have to do the numbers again here, 6 different men, including MTC President Joseph Bishop, of rape or sexual assault. None of those men have ever been convicted of the crime. Nice.